And are you refreshed? Good. Now what?
Thank you. So on a recent workshop recording, I heard you talk about how thoughts become things in terms of like thoughts. I think you said they were condensing together. They were gathering and condensing and then turning into those things. I was wondering if you could elaborate on that a little bit more.
Well, it's one of the most important subjects to focus upon, because when we say that you are the creator of your own reality, that is how.
Right.
So when you realize that through life you have been coming to spoken and mostly unspoken conclusions about things that you prefer, and that those vibrational energy rockets of desire have been emanating from you at all levels of your being, and sometimes you even get close to accepting that this vibrational reality is real, that it is a reality, that it does exist, but it's not anywhere close to the satisfying completion that you intended for it to be until it matures or combines or evolves to the point that you can consciously is the key, acknowledge its existence, and then you begin to translate it into the physical equivalent. So the idea of turning thoughts to things is really what the leading edge experience is all about. You came here for manifestation. Often when those high-minded, clear-minded, joy-seeking beings like you come together, you argue with one another in the beginning about spiritual versus material, as if it is more spiritual to be spiritual, and that the materialism or the manifestation ideas should not be something that you seek. And yet the non-physical must mature into the physical. But when you are guiding it into the precise physical nature that you choose, that's when you really get your creative chops. That's when you really begin to feel your own hands in the clay. That's when you really are the conscious, deliberate creator of your own experience. And so, of course, we've talked a lot already in this gathering about the maturation of these vibrations, and law of attraction is the reason. That's the reason that your vibrational garden grows as it does. Every thought has a vibrational frequency, and as thoughts of a certain vibrational frequency are in existence, law of attraction just naturally gathers other like thoughts to those thoughts. And so everything is maturing, everything is evolving. The evolution of all species is just about this. But when we begin talking about consciously turning thoughts to things, that's what we mean. And we talked about it just before a segment of lunch. That's what we mean by you realizing that there's a vibrational reality that exists, you honing in on it by paying attention to the way you feel, and then as those ideas begin to occur to you, as those ideas of desire are recognized by you, and understanding that the idea itself is a manifestation. Now you might say the idea of a beautiful new vehicle is not nearly as satisfying as the manifestation of the beautiful new vehicle in your garage, but it is all part of the same process. And so as you realize it in thought form, and then you hold yourself steady with it, not negating it with thoughts of doubt or with thoughts that feel like doubt, not working against it by continually measuring the non-existence of it in physical reality, but instead by recognizing it by the way it feels. So before anyone can consciously or deliberately be one who turns thoughts to things purposefully. You have to first accept that there's a vibrational reality that you can't see or hear or smell or taste or touch, and it has to be all right with you that you cannot see it or hear it or smell it or taste it or touch it. It has to be all right with you that you can only feel it, and it has to be satisfying. That's the operative word. You have to be satisfied with the existence of the vibrational reality, and in your continuing focus and satisfaction, which means focus and no resistance, focus and satisfaction, which means focus and allowing the vibration of you to mature at the same rate of the vibration of what's going on in the vortex, then you meet it at its mature state, and then you receive impulses of what to say and when to say it and who to say it to and where to be, impulses of where to go and where to look. It's a very large space that you live in, and these nuggets of creation are available for you to see all over the place. But you've got to be one who has practiced yourself into the tuning of the frequency of what's maturing in the vortex before you are the one that gets the glimpse and can carry it and carry it and carry it. And the whole point of it is not really for the manifestation of it, while that is a wonderful side effect of physicaldom. It's the thrill of being able to be in on the guiding of the unfolding of the creation that you are about. Turning thoughts to things. You turning thoughts to things. Better words, you tuning thoughts to things. Better words, you tuning yourself to receiving the thoughts that will become the things. Yeah.
I guess I was interested as well into like the mechanics, the physics of how thoughts become things, but maybe I just probably wouldn't be able to understand it. But
well, that's why we talk about your emotions, because that's about as close as you're going to get to the evolution of a desire. Think about a thought that is just a thought, a fleeting thought. Think about the power and the interest that you have in that. Then think about a thought that is not just fleeting. It deserves a second look by you, and as you look, it's pleasing and appealing as you look or as you focus. And then think about a thought that is not just appealing, but it's fascinating. Think about things that you are just fascinated with, things that get your juices flowing, things that you find yourself feeling eager about or wanting to talk about. And then think about those things that you've been thinking about and talking about that are showing up. We talked about that a few days ago. Just the 11:11 on your clock. That's exciting to see that fleeting thought turn into something where you feel the impulse of it and you look often. In other words, that's exactly a thought turning to a thing. It's an impulse and a looking and then a rendezvous with something that feels meaningful to you. Then it becomes not only interesting but passionate. Something that you find yourself wanting to think about. You think about it purposefully. You think about it on purpose, and you're aware of when you worry a little, and so you pull back from it, and you're guiding the focus of your own thought. And then it's not long after you have accomplished that on any subject before circumstances begin to rendezvous. Simple things that are wonderful to acknowledge, like our friend who met Esther and her family in the elevator, those kinds of things. And isn't it more satisfying when you have been moving along with a thought and you've been aware of its maturation, you've been aware of your increase in interest, and now you are aware of the increase of rendezvousing others with this thought that is interesting to you, watching what was once a fleeting thought become an interesting thought, become a fascinating thought, and then become present in so much of your mind and in the minds of others, and then watching it mature into something that is an experience, that is a relationship, that is a material or tangible object. And isn't it far more satisfying when those things become manifested than when they sneak up on you because of your obliviousness? People will say, it just came out of the blue. We say, no, it didn't. It came out of the oblivious. There are many wonderful things that can happen to you all the time. Thoughts are turning to things with or without your awareness of them. That's what we call creating by default. But to be deliberately thinking and then to be the fortunate observer of the becoming of your thought to things. And of course, we don't only mean things. We mean experiences. We mean concepts. we mean bigger and more and more and more satisfying experiences. Yeah.